In 1959, 9 Soviet hikers vanished in Russia's frozen wilderness. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside, their bodies scattered across the snow, barefoot, broken, and terrified. No one knows what they ran from, but the mountain remembers. This is the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. In January 1959, an expedition of 10 experienced Soviet ski hikers embarked on a challenging trek through the northern Ural Mountains. The group, composed mostly of students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. It was led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a radio engineering student. They aimed to reach the peak of Mount Otorten, a difficult Category 3 route, and earn their certifications. The group's diaries and final photographs paint a picture of youthful optimism and high spirits. It is documenting their journey by train from Sverdlovsk and their daily progress through the snowy landscape. Their expedition, however, began with a narrative turn that would ultimately define its tragic singularity. Just a few days into the trek, on January 28th, one of the members, Yuri Yudin, was forced to turn back due to a sudden flare-up of a chronic illness. He returned to his village, leaving the remaining 9 hikers to continue their journey toward their objective. This departure was a seemingly minor event, yet it was an act of fate that would tragically spare him. Yuri Yudin became the last living link to the group, providing a poignant point of reference for the normalcy of their final days before their disappearance. His survival underscores the profound randomness of the events that were to follow, transforming the story from a simple tragedy into a deep human enigma. Without him, the story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident would lack its most vital connection to the world of the living. The group's expected return date was February 12th, when they were scheduled to send a telegram back to their sports club. As the days passed with no word, a rescue operation was initiated, involving the army and police forces, with planes and helicopters joining the search. They would not have to search for long to find the first clues of the horror that had befallen the team. The final days of the expedition were captured in the group's diaries and cameras, providing a timeline of their last known movements up to the day before the incident. On February 1st, the group, facing worsening weather conditions and poor visibility, made a critical decision. Instead of descending to a more sheltered, forested area a mile and a half downhill, they chose to set up their camp on the exposed open slope of Kholat Syakhl. The name of this mountain, which chillingly translates to Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language, would become an eerie premonition of the events that unfolded that night. When the search party located the campsite on February 26th, the scene was a puzzle that defied all logic. The tent was found collapsed, half covered in snow, with a series of slashes in its fabric. A critical observation by a seamstress revealed the cuts had been made from the inside, suggesting the hikers had panicked and slashed their way out, rather than using the main entrance. Inside the tent, the hikers' personal belongings, including their boots, warm clothes, and equipment, were found undisturbed, as if they had been neatly arranged for the night. Food was sliced on a plate, indicating they had been preparing to eat. What happened next was even more baffling. A chain of 8 or 9 sets of footprints belonging only to the hikers led away from the tent. Many of the footprints were clearly made by people wearing only socks or completely barefoot, even in minus 30 degrees Celsius. The prints led away for about 500 meters before being swallowed by snow. There was no sign of struggle, no animal tracks, no other footprints. This single, illogical act, abandoning their only shelter for the sub-zero cold, forms the central paradox of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The initial discovery of the campsite was just the beginning of the gruesome puzzle. The search party eventually found the bodies of the 9 hikers scattered across the mountainside. The discovery occurred in 2 phases, with the state of the bodies presenting 2 distinct, perplexing scenarios. The first 5 bodies were found within a month of the incident. 2 of the hikers, Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krivonischenko, were discovered beneath a large pine tree, near the remains of a fire. They were shoeless, dressed only in their underclothes, a state often linked to paradoxical undressing, a desperate effect of hypothermia. Three more hikers, Igor Dyatlov, Zenaida Kolmogorova, and Rustem Slobodin, were found along the path between the pine and their tent. Their final position suggested they had been trying desperately to return to camp. All 5 were determined to have succumbed to hypothermia. While tragic, these deaths seemed consistent with a frantic, ill-prepared flight into the night. The true horror of the incident came months later, as the snow began to melt. In May, a Mansi hunter discovered the final 4 bodies hidden in a ravine near the cedar tree. When uncovered, the condition of these hikers revealed a disturbing duality. Autopsies revealed catastrophic internal trauma, with no corresponding external injuries. The force was said to be comparable to that of a car crash. Even more grotesque details deepened the mystery, suggesting something far beyond natural explanation. This final discovery cemented the Dyatlov Pass Incident as one of history's most chilling enigmas. This duality of death, one group succumbing to the cold, the other to severe internal trauma, remains the most perplexing aspect of the case. Lyudmila Dubinina's body was found face down in a stream of meltwater. It is an environment where decomposition and small animal activity occur rapidly. After months exposed to harsh elements, the damage becomes more understandable. Forensic judgment points to these injuries being post-mortem. It is helping to demystify the grisly image and shifting the focus back to the real enigma. The Soviet investigation into the Dyatlov Pass incident was as mysterious as the events themselves. Faced with a scene that defied conventional explanation, Soviet authorities quickly closed the case in May 1959. It is declaring that the hikers had died from a compelling natural force. They could not determine that any crime had taken place, and swiftly classified and sealed all related case files. This official secrecy and the deliberate vagueness of the conclusion immediately fueled suspicion of a government cover-up. In a totalitarian state, the very act of burying information serves to legitimize suspicion and create a void for speculation. The compelling natural force became a euphemism for a truth the government was unwilling or unable to disclose, effectively turning a tragic accident into a national urban legend. It was not until the fall of the Soviet Union that the case files were released. And even then, some parts were found to be missing. This action rather than providing clarity, only deepened the mystery and cemented the incident's status as the Russian Roswell. The actions of the state itself became a part of the enigma, leading many to believe that the official explanation was an intentional falsehood designed to hide a more sinister truth, possibly related to military testing. In the decades since the incident, the vacuum left by the official inquiry has been filled with countless theories. However, recent scientific analysis has provided a robust and compelling explanation, putting a new perspective on the entire case. The most plausible modern theory centers on a highly specific and rare type of snow event, a delayed slab avalanche. For decades, the avalanche theory was largely dismissed, as the slope was not steep enough for a traditional avalanche. However, in 2019, the Russian government reopened the investigation and concluded that an avalanche was the most likely cause of death. This official conclusion was followed by a groundbreaking 2021 study by two Swiss researchers who used a combination of forensic analysis and advanced physical and computer models to demonstrate the plausibility of the slab avalanche hypothesis. Gaume and Puzarin's work methodically addressed the long-standing contradictions of the avalanche theory. Their topographical analysis revealed that while the overall slope was gentle, the ground beneath the snow was terraced with steeper sections, making it susceptible to a slab avalanche. They also explained the lack of evidence. A small slab avalanche, combined with the strong katabatic winds, fast-flowing funnels of cold air, could have quickly covered its own tracks with transported snow, making it virtually invisible to rescuers who arrived weeks later. The most crucial part of their model explained the time delay. The hikers' action of cutting into the snow to set up their tent created a weak point in the snowpack. Over the course of the night, the strong katabatic winds slowly accumulated an extra load of snow above the tent, eventually causing the slab to release. This sudden release would have happened in the middle of the night, surprising the sleeping hikers and explaining why they were not fully dressed. To explain the bizarre and catastrophic injuries of the final 4 victims, the researchers turned to an unexpected source: the animation code from Disney's film Frozen. By adapting this code and coupling it with data from 1970s cadaver tests, they simulated the impact of a dense snow slab. The results showed that the force could indeed cause severe but non-lethal injuries, specifically the skull and chest fractures, without leaving external wounds. Ultimately, the most recent investigations and scientific studies have provided the most logical and comprehensive explanation for the Dyatlov Pass incident. The tragic sequence of events likely began with a delayed slab avalanche, triggered by a combination of the hikers' actions and the intense weather conditions of that fateful night. This initial trauma forced a panicked and desperate flight from their tent. The first group of hikers succumbed to the extreme cold, while the second group, having sought shelter in a makeshift den, was tragically crushed by another snow event. While science has offered a compelling and data-supported narrative, the full story of that night, the fear, the pain, and the final moments of the hikers, remains unknowable. No one survived to tell the tale, and this is what cements the incident in the annals of history and folklore. The enduring nature of the mystery lies not in its fundamental insolvability, but in the fact that the truth is often less sensational than the theories it inspires. The human need for a grand, otherworldly explanation for such a bizarre tragedy keeps the mystery alive, even when a meticulous, step-by-step scientific reconstruction offers a grounded and rational conclusion. The story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident transcends a simple hiking accident to become a powerful symbol of the human fascination with the inexplicable, and a testament to the fact that sometimes the most terrifying thing in the wilderness is nature itself.